Good afternoon, this is Mark. City Creek Bottoms Farmstead Life Fireside Chats. Rebecca reminded me the other day, Mark, it's not tails, it's chats. I don't know why I have tails on my head. I guess part of being human. Hope everyone's doing okay today. Another little hot day in Alabama, of course. It'll be this way till about mid-September, and we'll start cooling off. We've had a busy week and a half trying to get stuff canned and put up. Been doing a little corn, green beans, tomatoes. Our peas have about quit, so we quit picking peas. But now I'm getting ready to do the figs. I noticed over at my mom's other afternoon, figs are starting to turn, so we'll be busy on that for a few days. And the pear tree over there was loaded to the gills, and they starting to turn gold. So plus I got watermelons, cantaloupes fixing to come in, so probably next couple of weeks gonna be still busy, but you know, in the long run it'll be well worth it. I've probably got close to an acre of watermelons out there, and field's full of them. It's hard to see them because of the morning glories. I tell you, I have never seen a field so full of morning glories. But in a way, they're helping me too. They're hiding the watermelons from the deer, so that's a plus. It just makes it a little harder for me to find them when I go look for them. I had to take me a stick and push stuff back. And then my last patch of corn, kind of eyeballed it the other day. It's my white field corn that I will be making my cornmeal out of and grits. But I will pull some of it, you know, in the roast near stage to you know, maybe put a few jars of it up, maybe freeze a few, and the rest of it I'll let go to, you know, seed and dry. And then this fall, you know, grind it for cornmeal. Get this old grist mill started up in here that I bought this summer. So, look forward to that. I look forward to fall too. But it's I didn't get to go to Creepy Mountain this past weekend. Of course, I worked Friday night, and then Saturday was catch-up day. Plus, we had some friends invite us over for Saturday night to eat, and then Sunday I had to play catch-up. So when you ain't got but one day off during the week, and I try to do the bulk of my heavy stuff when I'm off, so I didn't get to go to Creepy Mountain. I hate it. But this weekend I should be able to make it up there and do a video. I'm going to go to the lake this time. We'll probably try to go Saturday evening when it's kind of getting close to dark. And, you know, talk to you a little bit about the lake. And hopefully I have something happen over. I don't know. I hope we can put up with the noise. So a lot's going to deal with that. Anyway, I did want to talk to you about one incident that went on during the winter of 2007-8. I had another good friend that lived very close to the hunting club, and every now and then he'd like to go coon hunting with us. So now he lived close enough that he would get on his four-wheeler and he would run down the side of the paved road for half a mile and then turn into the road to the club and come straight up in there where we was at. But also there's a back trail that sometimes he would use. This old logging trail that's right across from his house. It's a rough hill going up. I'm sorry, there's a car I thought if it could turn in here for a minute, but just slowing down. But anyway, he would he kind of was like me at the time. He was working straight night shift. He was pretty much off on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He worked like 10-hour shifts, and he was a supervisor in a injection molding plant. And they pretty much run Monday night through Thursday night on third shift, and worked 10 hours. And so he was off, on the weekends, and sometimes he'd like to go with us. So on a Sunday night, I was happened to be off for that Monday, Tuesday. I had worked off Saturday morning or Sunday morning at 6 a.m. So I was off, next 2 nights. So anyway, I let him know that me and Keith were going to plan on going up coon hunting that night. And he said, okay. And he said, what time y'all talking about going? And I said, well, let me just, send you a text when we getting ready to go up there, and that way you ain't sitting up around there waiting on us. And he said, all right, that sounds good. So I think it ended up being about 7, 8 o'clock at night when we finally, got up there after eating supper, spending time with my kids and stuff. And we got up there and met him, there at the clubhouse, and he come up the old logging road, and he just, would follow us to where we was going on his four-wheeler. It wasn't a bad cold night either. I think it was going down about 45, so I mean, enjoyable weather. Or to me it is. I like those temps from about 70 to 45. I love that temperature range in there. But anyway, we turned loose there at the beaver pond. Didn't have nothing going with the boogers that night. We treated a coon pretty quick. Didn't even notice dogs acting funny that night. Everything going like it's supposed to. We get back up the truck. We sit there and talk a little while, and it's getting on about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And he said, "Well, I'm gonna head on to the house." And we said, "Okay." And told him be careful. Told him we'd probably be coming on out in just a few minutes. Me and Keith sit there and talk a little more, because we think we was talking about what we was going to do as far as booger hunting that week. So anyway, he leaves on, and we kind of hear him leaving in the distance, and we hear him all of a sudden gun his four-wheeler a little bit. Hear him rev it up and take on off, and he this is a pretty rough road, and like, man, what's he doing? Anyway, we listened to him going down the mountain and toward his house, because his four-wheeler a little bit on the loud side. And we listened to him head on to his house. Probably he ain't been home probably 30 seconds. My phone rings. It's him, and he's like, man, he said, something was paralleling me while I was on the four-wheeler, and I could hear it over my four-wheeler. And I said, what do you mean? He said, when I turned onto that old logging road, and this logging road, you couldn't go down in a vehicle. I mean, it's a four-wheeler trail, pretty much what it is. So it's you got overhanging limbs. You got, in fact, it goes through a little piece of private property, maybe a couple of 100 yards through some private property, and the owners, they don't keep the old road up or nothing. So it's like almost like a tunnel through there. And he had permission to come through the property. I mean, his neighbors were with him, across the road from him, so they didn't mind him coming through there. So, but he said, once I got on the logging road, he said I might went 50 yards, and he said I could just hear something right up beside me in the woods, just tearing limbs down. And he said I could hear it walking, and he said, or running with me, or a little jog. And he said, Mark, it's bipedal. He said, I said, that's why you gunned your four-wheeler and took off. He said, yeah, I was going to try to outrun it. And he said, whatever this was stayed with me all the way to where their barn is. And he said, when I got right there, when you come out on this logging road, there's an old barn there, an old house there. Nobody lived in it. And the landowners kept it bush hogged and everything, because it was an old home place. And it kind of opens up in there. So when he got to that spot, whatever it was, quit following him. And I said, well, I noticed you you know, got an old fly out here. It's the only thing I have to fight with these things this time of year. The only thing bad about having a farm, you got livestock around, you're going to have flies, I'll tell you. You just have to fight with them. But he said, yeah, once I made it that clear, and he said it quit. And he said, I started to stop and, sit there a minute. And he said, something just told me go on. He said, I don't know. He said, what was that? I said, and he said, by the way, what are you and Keith doing? I said, what do you mean? He said, I don't have to leave for work till, about 7:30 at night. And he said, he was 10 minutes from work. I think he started his shift at 8 to 6 in the mornings. And he said, see you and Keith going by. He said, I know y'all ain't coon hunting every night. He said, y'all up to something. I said, and he said, whatever it was, I got a feeling it's dealing with what I just experienced. And I said, look here. I said, there's something on that mountain. He said, well, I already know there's something up there, but he said, what is it? And I said, Bigfoot. He got quiet a minute on the phone. He said, He said, that may account for some of them crazy things I've heard up there before. I said, probably so. He didn't laugh, he didn't smirk. He said, man, you're going to have to talk some more about this. And he said, in fact, I got something I want to tell you. I said, okay. I said, you want to do it? He said, well, no, I'm fixing to go on to bed. He said, you off tomorrow night, right? And I said, yeah. He said, well, right out there to the plant after you get your kids in bed and we'll talk. So I said, all right, I'll do that. So about 8:39, the kids went to bed. Wife then went to bed because she had to get up early. And told her, I said, I'm going to ride out here to the plant where he's at and talk with him a minute. And so I texted him and said, hey, I'm on my way. He said, well, drag your feet a little bit getting here because I got a machine I got to help start up. So he said, give me about 30 minutes. I said, all right. So I just rode around, took the long way going, just going slow, enjoying the countryside, at night. And anyway, I get out there and he comes walking out. And he said, I got the machine running. He said, they'll be good for about 30, 40 minutes in there. So I said, okay. So I said, what you got on your mind? He said, well, I want to tell you about something. He said, back a few months ago, he said, one night I was sitting out on the porch, and he said, he's got a street kind of to corner his property. And his house sits right on the top of a county road. Well, right across the road is the neighbor's property we was just talking about. Well, there's a wood line alongside the highway where you turn into the driveway to go to that old house place. It's pretty thick woods, a bunch of wild plum trees and some hickories, and it's kind of wooded right there at the front. Then once you get in there, it opens up where they keep the bush hogs and all that stuff. And he said, I was sitting on the porch. He said, it's about 11:30. He said, just had to get off the phone with his girlfriend. At the time he wasn't married, and he had talked to her, and I think she was getting on in bed. And he said, I was just sitting there, and he said, I thought my eyes was playing tricks with me for a minute. And he said, I seen this figure. And he said it was almost like looking at a fog. And I said, what do you mean a fog? He said it had a smoky look to it. And I said, a smoky look? I said, you seen a ghost? He said, no. He said, no, there was actually a figure there. He said, it was just weird. He said, it's just like you see somebody walking in the smoke, And I said, yeah, I know what you're talking about. He said, how you can see their body outline and they're, and they're walking through smoke or something. And he said, or, walking through a fog, how you see the outline, coming. He said, I seen it come out on the edge of the woods and walk down the edge of the wood line right there. And he said, the light was kind of, reflecting off of that fog look. And he said, it walked on out of my sight down the edge of that wood line. He said, I never said a word. He said, I just sit there and watched. And He said it was on two legs. He said it was tall. He said, I'm figuring it was in the 7-foot range. And he said, I think I seen one of them Bigfoot. And I said, there's a possibility. I said, I don't understand the fog or the like smoky look. You know, I said, I don't understand that. I said, was it trying to get foggy? He said, no, it wasn't. He said, it was clear. He said, just like when it come out, it was like a something around it. And I said, yeah, I don't know what to make of that. I said, I really don't. I said, we got on in about what me and Keith was doing up there and some of the stuff that went on. Of course, I didn't tell him everything. I don't tell everything right off the bat, because especially with people that have access up there, because I don't want them messing us up. And not that I don't trust them, but it's, you know, me and Keith are trying to take the human element out of everything. That way we know what we're dealing with. I mean, we know we had the boogers on the club, but we didn't want other problems coming from it. We didn't want other people, because we kind of kept, you know, the boogers and Bigfoot kind of quiet up there. Me and him didn't really talk to a lot of people about it. Now later on, of course, when some club members, some new club members got in and had seen them and had some stuff happen, of course, you know, the secret come out, I guess you called it, or the, you know, that they were up there. But so that was real interesting. So I thought about that, and through the years, I've heard that several more times from people, that it seems like they describe some of the similar things, almost a smoky, foggy look in that area where they would be. It is strange, something to think about. I have no idea what it is. Have I experienced that? One time, I seen that myself. We were out in the Talladega National Forest up toward Cheehaw. Cheehaw is the highest point in Alabama, about 2,500 feet. I know that ain't a big mountain compared to some people that live in North Carolina, North Georgia. Down here, you walk up that mountain, though, you know it's a mountain. But it's a real pretty place. If you're ever in Alabama, you want to go to a nice state park, Cheehaw is a nice place to go. Then, of course, Talladega National Forest is all the way around it. So, I don't know what the dog's getting stirred up about. But we'd went up there. In fact, Jonathan Odom was there, and I think Mr. Bob Trent. Trying to remember who else. You have to, and if I don't bring your name up, please forgive me, because ever since, you know what, since I had that, I've get that brain fog. But we were standing up on top of a ridge, and you could look down and see the Forest Service Road. And it was me, Rebecca, my stepdaughter Ella, and another young lady that was with Ella. Jonathan and Trent, Bob Trent, and I can't think the other two guys' names. Lord have mercy, I hate when I can't remember that. But they had walked down the hill back toward where our vehicles were. And they were coming back up the hill. We were just kind of standing there, you know, with our backs to them, looking down toward that road. About that time, there was one, Bigfoot, stepped out in the road down there. And it's like he went, uh-oh, I goofed up, because I don't know if he didn't realize we were standing there, or he thought we couldn't see him. But I know when he stepped out, now I could see his body figure. I could see his top, bottom, the whole 9 yards. Because that road he stepped out in, it was white looking. So him being dark, he just stood out when he got into that road. Of course, Ella goes, yeah, there he is. And of course, Rebecca couldn't see him good, because she said all she could see was a fog. I said, Now I kind of seen maybe a kind of a fog. I mean, it all happened so quick because he stepped out and it's like he went, uh-oh, I goofed up, and right back he went. Of course, I got up there, got hollered at Jonathan, and then come up there with a thermal. He looked all down in there, couldn't see him no more. I figured he went on down that big hill. And that hill, when we got ready to leave, I stopped there and got out. Took my big light and looked down, and there was a drop off. I mean, so he done went down that hill a little piece. That's why they couldn't probably pick him up with the thermal. He knew he got caught and he left that area. That's what I think, in my opinion. But Rebecca said what she seen was a fog. She really didn't see the body outline. Now, I seen the body outline, but also I seen the fog. So, I mean, that's just strange. Something to think about. You know, talking to people that have seen Bigfoot, have they mentioned that before? Or yourself, if I know some of you have witnessed Bigfoot, some of you haven't. I don't know why some of us can sometimes see them and some others can't. I have no idea what the deal is with that. So I mean, I don't know. That night, Rebecca, all she could see was a fog, but me, Ella, and the other young lady could see him just as well. I mean, it was foggy looking around him, but we could see his body outline. And, you know, he wasn't no gigantic one. You know, I mean, judging with that, you know, probably 6 foot tall. He was probably a young one. I think what he's going to do is cross that road and ease up that hill on his belly, get closer to us, and he stepped out and realized we were standing there. And I don't know if he was moving so quick. He was going to cross that road real quick and didn't really look up there to see where we was at. He may have thought we were with the other, because we was quiet up there. We wasn't talking or nothing. So I don't know what went on with that deal. But that's something to think about. So there's 2 people that I know, including myself, which would be 3, excuse me, that have seen that little fog. So smoke, whatever it is, I have no idea, you know. I know prior to knowing that Bigfoot was on the club, I've seen, you know, the little white orbs floating around up to, you know, some of them basketball size. I've seen what looked like a fog going across the field at night. I mean, it was just, and I thought it was real fog starting to come up, you know, maybe steam evaporating off the ground or something, you know. Didn't really think a whole lot about it, you know. It's just like what you know, early in the mornings you see the fog come up off ponds and lakes and river. So, you know, my brain wasn't really, you know, back then wasn't really, you know, thinking it was something else. But, you know, it's just strange, very strange, very strange. Now later on, he had, and of course he had heard some howls before. His grandpa property was up the road about a mile, and he lived with his grandfather for a little while. They had cattle. You know, a lot of times he said, you know, they'd be out there late in the evenings, you know, feeding cows right at dark in the winter, and they'd hear stuff come from the mountain. And he, you know, asked his grandpa what it was, and his grandpa said, I don't know. I really don't know what it is. So, you know, it's just something. And of course, one other thing that I will tell later, because it happened, I think the next year. I don't know, I have to look at me. But here's another time he got a glimpse of one. And he wasn't even trying to. So, but he definitely told me that night was strange when he was sitting out on the porch. And I think he was probably, from his house, probably to that wood line across the road, was probably a good 40, 50 yards. I asked him, you know, he thought he would have seen it without the street light being on. He said if that street light hadn't been there, I'd probably never seen it. So, makes you wonder. You know, just strange things, strange things. And so if you've had, you know, experience with that, with the fog or smoke, let me know. It's just something to think about. Don't know what it means. I have no foggy idea. I mean, we're all still guessing in this Bigfoot world. I mean, none of us are experts. I'm not no expert. I'm just a man that's had some experiences. Now, I've learned a few things from it, but I'm just about like anybody else in this world. You know, I know they're around. I know some of the things they do. You know, so I don't know. Just weird. This weekend I am going to try to go, I know I said this earlier, I know sometimes I repeat myself, but y'all have to please bear with me, because sometimes I just forget that I've done said it, and sometimes I forget stuff I ought to tell. Next week I am going to go back to, this weekend, I am going to try to go back up to Creepy Mountain. This time of year, me and Rebecca's just real busy. I mean, we're trying to put crops up, pick crops, put stuff up, keeping grass cut, keeping animals watered and fed. I mean, the home, and plus I still work a public job, so you know that just. And we've been real busy at work. I ended up working last Friday night. Usually don't never work Friday nights, and I'm going to work this Friday night. Usually don't do that, but we got some things we're trying to take care of, which is good. I mean, that's some overtime in my pocket. And 'cause come fall and winter, you know, I'll be in the woods more. You know, getting back into researching more, and plus, you know, hunting. So, you know, look forward to that. Also, I do want to say something about the drum bull. I know Mr. Parker, Joe Parker, is playing some with them. He's done some little different things with them, and he's took and put a lid on one. He said that made it sound real good. So that's something to think about. I think he used a smaller can too. He said that seemed to work good, so I appreciate him playing with them, because that tells me something. Like I told everybody, that's something you can make pretty much for almost nothing. That might get a response here and there from them. Also, Mr. Joe made a kind of a homemade elk call. I hope he don't mind me telling this. He made a homemade elk call. He took a turkey reed call, which is a mouth call, and then took like a bottle, kind of like one of them Minute Maid bottles, and they got a response off of it. You know, I may have to get him to do it on video for me, you know, and see how that works. So I don't know if he's got to go try his drum bull out in the woods yet. I hadn't heard from him this week, so well, I did hear from him when he told me he put a lid on one and was trying some other stuff. So hey, that's good. That's good. So, you know, give that drum bull a call. Give it a try. I mean, after the other day, right after we quit filming, it was crazy. I done put this camera up, and you know, we was getting ready to leave, and Lord, there was a response coming from around the lake area. And of course, Rebecca went back to filming with her phone, and I didn't know it. Of course, y'all probably heard that. You know, we stand there listening, and we heard it twice more. It was a good piece off. One time, couldn't hear it good because of well, you heard me say in the video about the truck going down the highway with the loud muffler. On that side of the mountain, especially in the winter, you can really hear that bottom down in there. I don't know how, it must just echo with itself right up through there somehow. Now, you get over toward the east side, north side, you don't hear stuff as much, but sometimes you'll hear the major highway on the east side of the mountain. If a big log truck or big transfer truck throws his jake brake on or something, you'll hear that pretty good. But or you'll hear a loud motorcycle, especially after midnight. It gets real quiet up there. And that's what I meant the other day when I said sometimes it get confusing. Is, you know, we'd hear things and we'd be like, you know, trying to figure out where it come from sometimes. Now I still got to get Keith's vocal downloaded them. We finally got a new computer in this week, a laptop. Our desktop done got old. We got to go in there and clean it out, and our laptop just crashed for some reason. Couldn't get nobody to straighten it out, so we ended up buying a new laptop this week. So I'm going to try to get in there and download Keith's vocal that he picked up one night when we were just coon hunting. We weren't even trying to Bigfoot hunt. The only reason he used that dish was that we were trying to locate some dogs, and he happened to pick all that up at Japanese samurai, whatever you want to call it. So that was pretty cool. So hopefully I can get that downloaded this weekend, and maybe have it on one of the next, maybe the next video or two. I got to get a call to him, Keith, see if Marcia's doing a lot better. I hadn't done as well as I should have, calling and checking on people, but I need to check and see if pretty soon she's going to be able to maybe ride up on the club to Creepy Mountain and maybe talk about where she's seen that one jump from tree to tree, a small one, there at the beaver pond. She's this is right after we started researching that summer. That tells me they were coming in there where we was feeding. This is the same area we were baiting, so that told me they was coming in there regular. Sound like the young ones was the ones maybe coming in there, but don't know that for sure. So all right, well, I guess I'm gonna call it a day. I want to thank all the new subscribers that came in, and I appreciate your comments. I appreciate my old subscribers. I appreciate everybody backing me up and backing me up on all this. I kind of hesitated to do this. I kind of took a step back from the Bigfoot world. Just kept in contact with my closest contacts, and but in the last year or so, I've kind of started watching some YouTube, some other ones. There's some good ones out there. Of course, Discover Sasquatch with Chris Reinhardt. Y'all need to check him out. There's another one I watch a little bit. I watch pretty regular now. Is one of them Sawdust Beast TV, and the other one is Beast of the Woods. They got some good stuff too. And I don't know why Jonathan is not posting as much stuff as he did. So Jonathan Odom with Alabama Bigfoot Paranormal, and I've kind of noticed night callers has disappeared or something. I don't see nothing pop up about it no more, so I don't know what's going on with that. So I guess I need to send Lori a text and ask her. Of course, her daughter Lauren's the one running that now, so but I need to ask Lori anyway about that. But I appreciate everybody. Miss Pat, Northern Blue Eye Girl, Pat Rance, Flat Rock, Lori, Miss Janelle, Chris. Got to speak to another guy last week, or week before, excuse me. Obviously, I can't remember no more, but Mr. Spencer Jameson, real nice talking guy. In fact, tonight I think he's going to be on Sawdust TV, I think, or Beast of the Woods. I can't remember. I get them two confused sometimes. They swap back and forth to each other, and then they got some other people that come on that talk to. One guy, Bama Murdoch, I think is how you pronounce that. He's from down here in my neck of the woods, probably about 100 miles away over on the western side of Alabama, northwestern side above Birmingham. Of course, we're in Sylacauga, which is 40-something miles southeast of Birmingham. Major highway that comes through here is Highway 280. I know people in Alabama know what 280 is, and some folks from other states. 280 about near needs to be an interstate. It's so busy. But it goes from Birmingham down to Columbus, Georgia, then goes on across Georgia towards Savannah. Of course, one reason it's so busy is Auburn University here in Alabama is located in the town of Auburn, which is right on 280. So that's why there's a lot of traffic from Birmingham down to Auburn. And then, of course, you got Fort Benning in Columbus, which is 20-30 miles below Auburn. So there's a lot of traffic going back and forth between these two places. So very major highway. A lot of us have discussed we don't know why they hadn't turned it almost into an interstate. There's some days trying to get across it's just rough, or trying to get out in it is just I don't know. Alabama hadn't prepared for 280, but like I said, I appreciate everybody supporting us. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Me and Rebecca really appreciate it. She was one of the biggest ones that pushed me to do this, start recording what experiences that I'd had with the boogers and Bigfoot, and I'm looking forward to doing some other things too with it later down the road. Do some history. I'm gonna go up to the grist mill. I got a graveyard I got to go find. I got some kinfolks buried in from the early 1800s, so you're probably gonna see some of that. And of course, around them old graveyards, booger hot spot. I don't know why. Just seems like they like to hang around them places. So, well, I hope everyone has a good weekend coming up. Be safe out there and enjoy yourself. Love each other. Support each other. Encourage each other. Because we need it in this time. There's some good people left in this world. We need to encourage each other and back each other up. So I hope y'all have a good weekend. If you don't mind, give us a like, subscribe, share. Definitely comment. I've been enjoying comments from people. There's one guy that did let me know about there was another report about bees, so that was cool. I think that was from the Ohio Buckeye Bigfoot website. Hadn't had a chance to go look at it. Like I said, last few weeks has just been busy. It's been real busy. That's why I like when fall gets here. It kind of starts slowing down a little bit. Well, this is Mark from Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead Life. Hope y'all have a good weekend. From Fireside Chats, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.